Hello, audience. I'm Crespri from my YouTube channel. This will be a story channel, the story of boring, stupid, and ordinary, because I have this kind of stories. Unfortunately, I don't have better stories at the moment. This will be my first story. This happened, it's not that boring because it's slightly paranormal. It's more strange than the rest. This is an old story. This happened to me when I was a young man living in the countryside and working for the local U.S. Army base. I was there. I was working there as a locally hired translator and interpreter, and it was a smaller agricultural town with limited possibilities for entertainment. With one exception, the local theater was famous. The local theater wasn't on the city level; it was on the national level or even the regional level. So quite high standards. And we thought that it will be nice if we start going to this theater and get ourselves more cultured. And it was I had long hours. My local girlfriend had long hours, and we had a hard time getting a ticket. So we bought the first ticket what we could take, and it was a difficult Shakespeare drama taking place 2,500 years ago. A very violent and bloody story about I forget. Unfortunately, I forget which Shakespeare play was it, and I couldn't recall it. And it was one of the more difficult ones. 2,500 years ago. Two or more royal families were fighting for something, possibly power or control or something like this, or they had some kind of feud with each other, and they were in a body combat and a series of paybacks with each other. And in the middle of the play, I was sitting in the middle of the theater. My girlfriend was sitting next to me, and there was an incident. There was a scene when two noble princes gang up on a woman in a cave by some reason, and they raped this woman. They raped this woman, and after the attack, they cut off their hands. The hands. So the actress was showing something like this, and there was some fake blood involved, and by some reason they didn't kill the victim. It's Now all I can think of is that the two princes wanted to torture or punish this woman, because after the attack, they cut off the woman's tongue. So this scene was played, and after a couple of minutes, I began to feel very strange. I started to feel pressure in my wrist, low, strange pressure, and some kind of a throbbing, and I was touching my wrist. That's how strange it is, and I started to feel something strange with my mouth. And possibly, if I can recall correctly, with my tongue. And I wanted to say something, and my vocal cord froze, and I couldn't produce any sound. I had a deep breath. I blow the air out, and I stopped breathing because I couldn't force any more air into my lungs. I was just kind of doing this. Felt like choking, almost like being choked out by a mixed martial art professional. And I reckon that it's not a good situation. I did martial arts, and a long time ago, when I was 13 years old, and my master said something about being in reality and falling off reality. If you do martial arts, sometimes you can attack your opponent with making him falling off his reality, and it will be much easier to defeat. And that was the idea what came into my head, that I somehow by an unseen destructive force I was under attack, and I falling off reality, because it's not normal that in a packed theater you are going to choke yourself to unconsciousness in a packed theater, because it's not normal. That's not reality. Apparently, I was pushed out of the normal reality, some other place, into irreality. And I remembered what to do against this kind of attack. I began to touch the seat in front of me, to grab the seat, because my training told me that if you feel unreality, you have to reconnect, reset the situation, and connect with the physical universe somehow. And if you connect with the physical universe, it can bring back to you to that reality what you have lost, what you were pushed out. And I did my exercise, or what I learned in the martial art class, touching the chair and something else, and playing with my hands. But unfortunately, the minutes were passing, and I still not wasn't getting any air. And I was being choked, and I was afraid that I'm going to die, or in best case scenario, I will lose consciousness. I looked at my girlfriend. She was looking at me. She looked at. I was trying to say something, but I couldn't. Possibly I looked pale. She saw my white face, and I saw the surprise and shock in her eyes. I started to worry, and she was saying that, "What's up? What's going on? Why are you so unwell?" But I couldn't say anything. I went like this, and I couldn't say anything. And now my brain was still working, and I said that if I lose consciousness, it's better if I step outside of the public area and go to the corridor, to the side, and just drop down there somewhere. And I stood up and struggled. I made my way on the tight between the rows out of the theater. I opened the door and saw the white light of the corridor, and I had to shut my eyes at that point. And with closed eyes, I walked to the wall, and I thrust my hands forward, and I touched the wall, and I slid through the wall, losing consciousness, and grabbed a door handle. There was a door, and I grabbed the door handle, and went down on my knees. And I think at this point, somehow I began to be able to forcing a little air into my lungs, and began to breathe again, by just forcing it, but just a very little. And I was kneeling there, and my girlfriend was out, and then somebody called the theater watchwoman, who also came and was pacing around, and there was the ticket lady. So at least 5 people were surrounding me and asking that, what's going on, how can we help, what is happening. And I was trying to get more and more and more air into my lungs by little and little, because I still couldn't breathe normally. Just something like this, something like this, and finally I managed to say words, just make words as for a speech that I could. I don't know what I said. I think I should have said something about I couldn't breathe. I was choking. I got sick, and I almost lost consciousness. And came the theater watchwoman and said, "Oh, all right, take your time. We understand." because she said I was this play was had been running about 2 or 3 weeks, and during the 2 or 3 weeks, I must have been the 50th person who comes out of the play because of some kind of sickness, or just simply throwing up all over the place in the same corridor or the other corridor in the other side. And said, yeah, and the woman said that because this play is very violent and very bloody, and and it's Shakespeare, and the director was a Yugoslav war veteran, and part is because it's his hands is playing in this effect. And by the time I was able to stand up, and I was walking slowly up and down the corridor, and up and down the corridor, and gradually I was getting a grip on myself slowly, and was able to breathe again after this few minutes. What seemed like to be a lot more than a few minutes, and now it's feeling like at least half an hour. But it couldn't have been half an hour before, because if it were that long, I would pass out. Uh, and my girlfriend was looking at me very strangely, and I couldn't explain. So up to this day, I have no explanation for this incident. When I watch thrillers on television or on the video, I never got any kind of reaction. When I was younger and watched horror films, I never reacted. I never got sick because of watching a film. So up to this day, I have no clue what happened to me that night in the theater. So this is my story. So if you have heard about something similar, if you know somebody who has a similar story or similar experience, please share your ideas in the comment section, because I would like to hear it, because this whole thing is a complete mystery to me. Thank you for listening, and look for my next story next week, because I'm going to upload another story. Bye bye. Have a good one.